achy pain in my back, spinal fusion surgery to kind of open up the gap. I was like, what? Hi everyone, today I wanted to talk about my journey of back pain, and this is a my story video. Hey guys, I'm Jenna and I'm a certified Pilates instructor based in LA, and I have fought through my own back pain, and I've been diagnosed with loads of back pain conditions like spondylolisthesis, scoliosis, stenosis, spinal stenosis, degenerative disc disease, sciatica pain, just to name a few. So I was only 28 years old, and to give you a background, I'd always been a dancer, and from a young age, I always loved moving my bodies, and I just loved moving according to the music. And as you know, in dancing, wow factor, X factor is very important. And I always thought that my wow factor was flexibility. I was that bendy person who always can just flip over to the back and back bend and side split and front split. And I just loved wowing the audience. So I guess I kept at it. I kept stretching to be more flexible, thinking that more flexible, the better it is. And later down the road, when I was 28 years old precisely, I remember starting developing really dull, achy pain in my back. And then it would just not go away, no matter how much icing and heating I did. And it eventually developed into more of a sharper pain. And I knew that at that point I needed to go see a doctor. So I went to the doctor. First, doctor was like, oh, you probably overacted your muscles. You need to just take some muscle relaxers and like see you in 2 weeks. But then when it didn't go away, he took some x-ray images of my back, and then he told me that I needed a spinal surgery. I was like, what? So basically, he told me that I have a fracture on my L4 vertebrae and it's shifting forward. There are 4 stages of spinal spondylolisthesis, and I was already up to grade 2, which means 50% of vertebrae slippage forward. And that was creating nerve pressure, so I was feeling that stingy nerve pain. And on top of that, I had scoliosis that was in progression, and yeah, stenosis that had kind of like narrowing of the vertebrae gap. And so my doctor strongly recommended me having a spinal fusion surgery to kind of open up the gap in between the vertebrae. And that was a lot of information to take, and I just couldn't really see myself putting metal rods in my body that early on, even before I became 30 years old. And then also, when I looked up some researches, I found out that there are actually many side effects of spinal fusion surgeries, and later down the road one might has to go through resurgery to make sure the fusion doesn't occur in other vertebrae. So that made me to believe that, oh my goodness, I need to take the matters into my own hands and really get down to this. So I started trying literally all the modalities out there. I started getting acupunctures, manual therapy, like the creams and shots and pills, like everything that you could buy in a pharmacy or from from doctor's office. Anything that they recommended, I tried, along with some physical therapy exercises as well. Quite truthfully, none of them really provided lasting relief. And like physical therapy was actually one sort of organic route that I could kind of sense that I was getting better. But I realized that to me at that time, physical therapy just wasn't really clicking in my brain, because oftentimes it was in a very busy clinic with lots of people, and I felt like I was just one person in this big queue of people, and I just felt like I wasn't given the attention that I needed in order to get better in my back pain. So one of the physical therapists one day just told me, hey, why don't you try Pilates? I heard Pilates is great for back pain relief. And out of desperation, right, I signed up for private Pilates sessions because they told me that you can't take group classes because you're injured. And so I pay this expensive private Pilates class. And at the time, that was totally over my budget, but I realized I gotta do what I gotta do. Like, if this thing works, I'm willing to spend my savings on it just because at this point I couldn't go to dance classes. I couldn't really do the things that I enjoy in my life. And so I was desperate. And I went to the Pilates class. First couple of classes, I will not lie about this. It was pretty boring because a lot of it was kind of going through assessment and like, resetting the breathing pattern and all that. And so it was super quiet for me. But the third session, we did some core strengthening exercises that are linked to breathing exercise. And I remember, oh my God, this is it. Because I felt like coming out of the studio, I felt like I was wearing a back brace. Like I felt like something was kind of holding really tight right here. And I just felt so protected and safe. And I love that feeling after months of just going through aches and spasms and instability. So I love that feeling so much that I went back to the private Pilates session and I just kept at it. I just kept at going back to Pilates. And the more I went, sure, of course, there were some trials and errors. Some exercises didn't work out, and the instructor didn't know what was going on in my body 100%. And there were some trials and errors, but overall trending line was starting to really looking up. So I started to feel better, and I felt like, oh my God, this is the organic sort of recovery that I'm sensing in my body. So I just kept at it. I kept at it. Honestly, it was not just Pilates. Simultaneously, I looked into a lot of other modalities as well. For example, for sciatica pain, I came across this physical therapy exercise called McKinsey method. And I started learning about Dr. McKinsey and how he developed McKinsey method. And I started kind of applying to the best of my ability in and there are so many resources these days. And so I read some books and I watched YouTube, some professors having seminars on that topic. Also, another crucial point was when I saw Dr. McGill, the world-renowned spine scholar who worked with Olympic lifters and to increase their core strength, right? He put about 80 to 100 core strengthening exercises in his lab to determine which one actually activates the core the most. So I remember following through his Dr. McGill's top big three exercises. And so having those experiences really helped me kind of holistically develop what flares my back pain and learning of, and just education about what flares my back, what doesn't flare my back, how should I manage my postures in certain situations, what are my emergency exercises if I actually have my back flared up. So all of these things kind of came together. And before I knew it, I was at that point where I was kind of back to enjoying my normal life. So fast forward to now, I am definitely enjoying dance classes once or twice a week. So happy about that. And also I am not 100% regular, but I do play golf and I am able to go to yoga classes. I do walk. Sometimes I even jog a little bit these days because I feel I feel a lot better, and I go to the gym to weight lift. So I can basically try anything that I want. Also, going on a long distance trip used to really scare me so much, but I'm able to sit in an airplane and and effectively manage and anticipate and manage my pain. So I am so thankful for the sort of normalcy that I have back in my life. And I really do feel like I'm 99% pain free. I say that I leave that 1% in there because sometimes when I do something totally out of my ordinary practice, I will have a little bit of discomfort in my back. I mean, after all, this is all about managing your pain and being able to push through the life without further damaging your back. And that in itself is even more powerful than you passively getting a surgery or some type of like magic treatment that's gonna fix your back. So I'm here now. Fast forward, I guess 11 years. I have been practicing Pilates for 11 years, and I've been an instructor. I've been a Pilates instructor for 6 years because I got so fascinated about this method that I became an instructor. And now I've been teaching clients on my method, Bulletproof Your Back method, to how to engage your core and how to engage in your daily activities so that you don't further damage your back and start to get better. It's like putting, like Dr. McGill said this once, it's like putting $1 in your savings account. Just put $1 every day as opposed to taking out the dollar. I started developing this method called Bulletproof Your Back program, and I started working with clients all around the world, not just in America, but in Korea and Qatar, India, and Saudi Arabia. And so I am so happy that I'm able to share this method with you. If you want to see a glimpse of the kind of work that I do with my clients to heal from back pain, I'll put the link down below about Bulletproof Your Back program, and then you can sign up for my 5 steps guide to be back pain free. It's completely free. Send it right into your inbox. So please get the help that you need, and always, always, always believe in your body's healing power, because I do. Thank you for listening, and I am Jenna. Until next video, see you again.